Hi folks, Rachel here from Beads by Verchiel, bringing you this week's Thursday tutorial live. How are you all doing? Please, as always, do give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you were present, and so that when you're joining me on the live, I can also enter you into the giveaway as well. So it's really important that you like the post as well, because that's the way that I trace everybody that's been joining me. Right, now, where's my comments gone? Oh, here you are. Hello, Janet. Hello, Carol. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Francis. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Deb. How are you all? And what have you been up to? It's been a bit of a wet day today, hasn't it? Hello, Jane. Hi, Lisa. Lovely to have you all join tonight. So we're doing a little bit of wire working tonight. And I think what I'm going to do is actually spread this into next week. So we're going to do rings this week. So I'm going to show you two different techniques for doing rings. And I'm going to show you next week how you can advance on that method to do sun catchers, earrings, pendants. We won't get that all in one tutorial, but I can give you an idea. So let's kick off and just show you some of the samples. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody. Hello, Sharon. Hi, June. Sharon's made half a bling ring. Woo! Have to share it. Right. Now, have to let me know which one of these is your favourite gemstones. Now, these kits were on Hochanda, so I have kits available in turquoise howlite, which is the one I'm wearing, which is a really lovely sunny blue, and there's enough in the kit to do a rose and a silver. So you've got enough beads to do two and enough wire to do two. There's written and photograph instructions as well. So they're all coming up in the group. This was by far the most popular, which is the amethyst and rose quartz. I've got very limited ones on this one. Again, you do two rings, one in rose, one in silver. These kits are a little bit, I won't send these out to you honestly, they're a little bit battered because they're my sample pieces that go up on the show, and I just haven't got round to sorting them out because they just get bunged back in a pack. Now, I have to confess, smoky quartz, one of my favourites. So that's just smoky. Sodalite, which they can vary because sodalite does have a lot of white flecks in them as well. Hi, Kim. Have I done hematite? 1, 2, 3. Hematite. That's like your gunmetal, and again you can do two. So let's just show you them in the flesh quickly because we're doing okay for time. So you've seen my turquoise, and maybe I won't show you. Oh yes, I can show you that one. That's the smoky, which is like a see-through brown. This is the amethyst and rose. Hello, Carol. Hi, Deb. Sodalite. Yes, I love sodalite too. Hematite is that one. And so tonight, the two styles I'm going to do is this one, which is effectively, it's wrapping two wires together and then forming the shape so they're adjustable. And then I'm going to show you how to do it with three. So effectively you make 6 little strands when they're wrapped over. So they're 3 wires. Have I got another sample? Oh yes. So it depends if you, that's exactly the same weave as that one. It just depends how bold you want to go. So I'll talk you through the wires. Now, next week, I'm going to talk you through what else you can do with this type of weave. So to make a pendant, so it's a little bit more, how can I put it, abstract. The earrings, and I love these sun catchers. I might do a separate one, depends how many of you want me to do that. So that's a sun catcher. This one takes a while, but again, if you all want to see it, we can do a tutorial. That's using the same technique with the 2 wires, but that is making a surround with this is just a battery operated pillar candle. So I've kind of tweaked the design a little bit, but the principles are the same. So albeit this is a ring design, but this ring design you can spread over many things as well. So the kits are on there. There's also wooden mandrels coming up, ring sizes. I've got a couple of nylon jaw pliers, and there's booster kits as well. So if you want the wire boosters, that's got a selection of wires in there as well. Oh, it's lovely. We've got some more new people joining the group tonight as well. Hello, Lydia. Hi, Lisa. Glad you like them. Hello, Jay. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Hi, Nora. Hello, Sally. Sally's new to us this evening as well. She loves a sun catcher. Janet loves a sun catcher. Carol's new to us tonight as well. So welcome. It's lovely to have you all. So I'm normally here for about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. Obviously, if you get a little bit bored and you want to come back, by all means do. You can watch it back on the replay. Hopefully that won't be the case. So let's get cracking. I'm going to try and take it from scratch, but I have done my Blue Peter moment so that you haven't got to sit and watch me wire wrap the whole thing. Let's talk tools, shall we? So you're going to need some tools for this particular project. The tools aren't included in your kits. You will need those yourself. You need some chain nose, but you don't want any with a corrugated interior because they mark your wires. You're going to need some looping pliers and a pair of cutters, good pair of side cutters. Now these aren't essential, but they're recommended because it helps save on wastage, because it iron out all the nooks and crannies. So these are called nylon tipped pliers. Now if you haven't got a wooden mandrel, then you could use, I'm just trying to think what things you could use. I think the finer, thinner Pritt stick's a bit small, but you could use it to shape it and pull it in with your hands. But they're relatively inexpensive. I think they're £8.95, the ring mandrels, and they're full size. They're bigger than these. You've got the ring sizes. So first of all, let's start from the very beginning. So how do you establish your ring size, or how do you mark it? First of all, you could do it this way. So if you've got your ring mandrel and you've got the ring that you want the size for, pop it on your ring mandrel with a pencil and mark it about 1 millimetre below. And that's the point with which you wrap. I always give it a mil, because by the time you've wrapped and you've added your beads, it takes some of the inner diameter. A broomstick, what a great idea. Oh, I'm glad you like my necklace. This one's got smoky quartz in it. I do like my smoky quartz. Right, the other way is ring sizer. Find the one that fits. And well, that's a bit tiny. Pop it on your ring mandrel. Do exactly the same. Mark it about 1 millimetre underneath. Now, if somebody gives you their ring size, you can actually look it up on the chart that comes with this and use the relevant size. I hope that makes sense, but that's what we start off with. Now we're going to do the smaller one first of all, which is this one. Hello, Kay. lovely to have you. Hi Dorothy. Dorothy has a ring mandrel and the metal, its metal is marked with the sizes. Now those are fantastic, providing sometimes you have a flat, you have like a groove and a flat part in the center. If it's got the markings all the way up and it's fully round, those are great, but don't purchase the ones that have got a flat in the center. I'll see if I can find it after, because it will affect the shape of your ring from the flat, and those are ring sizes. So there's two different types, but I'm guessing that Dorothy's probably got the one that's actually does all of it, the sizing and the shaping. So first of all, we're going to start with 0.8mm wire, and I'm going to cut 2 10 centimetre lengths. Now for the weaving wire, for a lot of weaving I use either 0.3 or 0.4. So for the 0.3 is the one I'm using tonight. If you struggle with weaving, if you struggle with pains in your hands, the 0.3 is lovely because it's really soft and pliable. You can either work directly from the reel or you can cut it. Now I'm just going to cut a small length because I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm going to zoom in now and I'm going to talk you through the whole thing. So as always, and whether you're new as well, if you've got any questions whilst I'm doing the demo, pop the question in there so I can understand it when I come back, and I'll address it straight after the demonstration. So yeah, so Dorothy's saying hers hasn't got the grooves in it, so that one obviously is an ideal one to have too. Right, I'm just going to swipe away your comments. I'm hoping that's all in focus. Right, so I've cut this. It's really handy to have a Sharpie pen because I'm just going to mark 2 centimetres from both ends. And what that does is it tells me where I need to start and finish my weaving. Now it gives you some tips in the kit about if you've got bigger size rings or you've ring size or really tiny, you can adjust it accordingly. And I'm going to zoom in as close as I can because you really need to see this. Now I'm going to be right back because I've just remembered I'm going to weave with a different colour so that you can see it. So have a chat amongst yourselves. Right. And here's me thinking I was all prepared. Right, so I've got the gold, and that way it'll be easier for you to actually see. Right, so that's where we're starting our weave from. I'm going to pop a tail just a couple of centimetres long underneath and trap it with my non-dominant hand and do a full wrap around one. Now I'm going to add the next one on top, and I'm going to do a full wrap around that one as well. Now you don't want any gaps in between this particular one. And then we're going to do a full wrap around both and in the middle. I'm going to see if I can zoom in any more. I think that is the max, which means I've really got to keep an eye on making sure I don't go off camera. So your wire weaving comprises of one wrap round this lower one, go under the back and over the top. So you wrap round the top one, and then we wrap round both and anchor it round the lower one. So that's 3 moves, and that's all you do all the way through. So move 1 is round the lower one, and then you bring your wire under the under the back and round the top one. Bring it back round and bring it over 2 and anchor it in between both. So that's your 3 moves. So you've got 1, 2, 3. Now, one of my top tips is, obviously that's going to move, is I find it easier if you've got any nylon jaw pliers to hold that whilst you're weaving. It just helps stabilize it a little bit. So we're doing 1, 2 and 3. So we're wrapping around number 1, round the top one and round both, and position it in the middle. So let's just show you how that is coming out. So I'm going to do a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So round the back. So I'm just trying to think, what action is that? That is anti-clockwise we're working in. But this is such beautiful wire to work with, and it gives such a neat finish. It's amazing what a difference it makes between 0.3mm and 0.4. What you can always do as well is you could always practice with 2 cocktail sticks and a bit of string, and you can get the, you know, just get the feel for how you wire wrap, and honestly it does still work. So that is your weave. Okay, so you're going to continue weaving until you get to the other point where I've marked, which is 2 centimeters from the other end, or alter accordingly for longer or shorter. But can you see how they're tied together, and doesn't that give a lovely sheen? So let's pretend we'd finished it. Now this is things you need to consider when you're having a ring for you or for someone else, is you want a bottom and a top. You don't want any loose edges on the bottom because it will irritate the skin. And with your cutters, you have the flat side against where you're going to cut, and then get your chain nose pliers and just ease that tail in and squeeze it. Now if you're adding in wire, let me just, before I finish that, let me just show you how I'll add it in with the silver. So say you run out of wire, I would start where you left off. So I'd hold this round the back and just carry on where you left off. So just carry on with the weave. Like so, and then just bring any loose ends to the front and trim them. So you just carry on as normal. So that's how we trim off. So let's shimmy along. This is our finished length. So you've got the 2 centimeters either end, and again we're going to trim off the excess. Now I take more time than I am at the moment because it really is important finishing off properly. All right, so I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more because you don't quite need to see as much of the weave. Right, so there's our pencil mark, and we're going to bring this round, and we're going to overlap and overlap. Let's just make it a little bit smaller, like so. And now with your nylon tipped hammer, it doesn't matter, one's yellow, one's black, do exactly the same thing, it's just a design feature. So you would, what does hammering do? You could ask. Hammering does two things. One is to shape it, and number two is to what's called work harden. And this is a lot that's used in silversmithing, is when you hammer metal, metal becomes firmer. So I would take a little bit more time. You don't need to hammer for England, you know, just enough to give it a good shape. So then you take that off, just gently straighten these up a little bit. And then we're going to add the beads. So what beads should we add? Let's add some hematite. So you've got 16 beads in each one. 4, 8. So we've got 1, 2. So I would pop 2 on, trim that one down to about 1 centimetre tail, and then with your round nose pliers I would turn it to the size loop that you want, but keep it uniform all the way round. And then I'd add another 2. But bearing in mind this 2, these are going to be set back a little bit further, so there'll be a slight gap. That is part of the design feature. Now my loops might be slightly different because I'm doing this for speed, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. 2. Let's turn around the other side. But the good thing is with this, I mean, once you've established the techniques, you could always treat yourself and do it in sterling silver. I've done these in sterling silver. I've done them in 9-carat gold as well. 9-carat gold is a wee bit scary because it's an expensive mistake if you make one, but really you just can't think about it. Sometimes you've just got to do it. If you do want to order sterling silver, Cooks and Gold or Palmer Metals are great for that, and you'd order 0.8mm round, and obviously your weaving wire is your 0.3 as well. It's a bit softer, to be honest, than plated wire. Right, so we've got those, but they stick up a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that back on the mandrel, and you're going to push those down like so. And there you have your ring. And it's adjustable, so you can tweak it in a little bit or you can make it bigger. So I'm going to zoom out and just check to see if you've got any questions before we do the next tutorial. Right, where's your comments? Deb says she puts a groove in her wooden mandrels for the stones to sit in when she's wrapping, as it helps keep it in place. Put a groove. How do you put the groove in, Deb? That'd be interesting to know. I suppose that would be quite good for the type of mandrel I was mentioning to you earlier as well. Anne says she finds it hard to get a rhyme and maintain attention. Anne, have you tried wrapping with the 0.3? Because it is such a big difference to the 0.3 and the 0.4. And it is like anything, it is just practice. Oh, if you don't have a mandrel, Tricia, we were saying a small broomstick perhaps. I can't think of anything else, but there are mandrels coming up in the feed this evening as well. Oh, good call. June says she's used a plastic bead tube in the past. Tricia said her loops are always different. Mine too. I think that's just part of the delight of being handmade. But there is a looping tool that you can buy that's called a one-step looper. But you can ask me about that if it's something of interest. Janet says hers are too. Lydia says her wire doesn't stay straight. That's okay. With the 0.8, you want it to be sort of slightly open as you're working anyway, and your nylon tip pliers will get any nasty kinks out the way. June's mandrel from Cooks and already has a groove in. Oh, Deb said her husband used his saw for her. And obviously you'd only want to do that if you wanted to create a groove for crystals to sit. Excuse me. And Carol says she remembers making one of these before. Yes, I think you have with me, Carol. That was rhythm. I knew what you meant. So are you guys ready for the next tutorial? We're doing all right for time. And then I'll show you what tonight's giveaway is as well. So just pop me a thumbs up in the comment if you're ready. Any thumbs? It takes a little while to come through. So I'm just going to crack on anyway. So I'm going to cut this time 3 strands of the 10 centimeters. This is also a really nice method for doing other things like sort of encasing pendants as well. Okie dokies. So same principle. We're going to measure. I'm going to mark from the end again. I'm going to wire wrap in the gold. Bear with me while I just get myself ready. Right. Oh, that wasn't the colour I wanted. I want gold. Right, let's zoom in. Thumbs up. They came through in the end. Right. I'll just have to swipe away your comments so that I can see. So we would mark each one. This is going to be very rough, by the way. 2 centimeters. This just gives you a guide, and the Sharpie pen comes off really easily. And then you do it the same the other end, but we aren't going to get to the other end with this because I'm just going to show you the basic weave. So I am zooming in as much as I possibly can. Right, so let's put those out of the way. So we start the same way. Little tail, 1 wire wrap, 2 wire wraps, and then 3. So what you're doing is you're working anti-clockwise around each one. Okay, so you've just got 3 single wraps. So when you get to the top, you're going to work back down in groups of 2. So we bring it round and through the bottom 2. So you're bringing it over the top 2 and then stepping up and anchoring it between the top 2. Then I'm going to wrap it round the bottom 2 and bring it in the middle of both. Don't worry if you didn't catch that because I'm going to do it a number of times. So 3 singles going up anti-clockwise. So 1, 2, 3. So that's step 1, 3 singles. Step 2, grouping those 2, then those 2. So we're going to bring the wire over those 2. But to move into the next group of 2, we're going to have to bring the wire between those. So we bring it round the bottom 2 and then bring it in the middle. All right, let's do some more. Single wraps, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to group them. So bring it there and then anchor it there. Bring it around the bottom 2 and anchor it there, ready to start. All right, let's do a little bit more. So like I say, I spread these out. It might be easier to use your nylon jaw pliers. Don't worry if it comes out of its intended space, because until you get further into the weave, it should be fairly easy to move. So 3 singles. And then 2 doubles. So you're wrapping round 2 and then you wrap round another 2. So 3 singles and then group the 2 and anchor between the top 2, round the bottom 2 and anchor in the middle of that. So 1, 2, 3. Let's keep going. Now, when you're doing this, I wouldn't do this and then push it down, because you'll get a really nasty, untidy weave. So keep it nice big strokes with it and pull it as you're going. Okay, right. So mine's a little bit squiffy there whilst I'm on camera, but what it's done is it's actually anchored all 3 together. So do let me know if there's any problems with that, but we're going to go back, and here is the final weave. So that's how they all come together. How neat is that? Not saying my weave's really neat, but that is quite a neat little weave. And then let's just finally, so on this one you're going to need more beads, but you could skip out some beads. Right, we're going to wrap it around the mandrel. I think we'll just zoom out a little bit. There we go. So wrap it round, do as you did before and hammer. It really is quite difficult doing this on camera, if I'm honest. I never forget the first YouTube tutorial I ever did. It has been deleted now. It did actually have like 28,000 views, but it was really embarrassing. It had to go. It was on a wire rat rig and my daughter edited it, and I think I've told this story to some of you before, but I had some Velcro trainers on, some Velcro strap trainers, and I just hadn't got everything organised, and I kept getting up, and I remember I had a tablecloth on there and getting my Velcro trainers stuck and whipped everything off the table. But I reckon we should have kept that in, because I think that would have been more interesting. But we've all got to start somewhere. So you could always, on this one, you could always have one without beads. You could have more, you could have smaller beads. I'll show you the check crystal ones in a second. I always like the loop to be going in the same direction. But with this one, what you could always do is you could always have one that's just a plain one. You can sort of play around with the design as you wish, really. But what I'm doing again is cutting about 1 centimetre I like mine, my loops, one to go down, one to go up, but again, it's just personal choice. That one there, that one there. Right, with this, obviously the further down the pliers you go, the bigger the loop. But if you find you don't get it quite as you want it, you can always cut into it if you need it to be smaller. Now this isn't going to be perfect because it's been done so quickly, and I must admit I would have kept that one longer as well, but it's good that I make mistakes because at least it can show you what not to do. Okay, so pop that on there. Again, just push these down because you don't want them catching on anything. Give it a final blast on the old hammer, and there we go. You've got your beautiful ring. And like I say, you don't even have to put beads on those if you don't want to. But I like the way you've got the gradient there, whereas with this one, I cut that one too short. I should have just left it. But there you are. Right, let's zoom out and see how you found that. Got to find where I was. Carol says, Jane, we may have been in the same class. Kim said she did the course with me for that wire weaving. A pendant, yes. Putting together several wires, you can encase cabochons and pendants as well. That was a while ago, Kim, wasn't it? Sharon, do you have smaller beads on your 3? No, I've done the same size, Sharon, but this one is with 3mm Czechoslovakian fire polished. So you can go smaller. You've just got to make sure that the size hole in the beads fits your 0.8mm wire. Lydia says, sounds good. Jay says, fab. Deb, Lydia, love it. Thank you. And Sharon, Sandra and Janet and Jay. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll show you the giveaway as well. But do give it a whirl. Like I say, I've got the 5 different kit colours. I think they're £12.95. So you've got written and photograph instructions. You've got enough for 2 gemstone rings, sodalite, amethyst and rose, smoky, hematite, turquoise, and I've got a wire booster bundle as well. So I think there's like equivalent of 32 meters in there as well. There's limited stock that I have left in nylon. I'm dropping everything. Nylon jaw pliers, the hammer and the mandrel. So don't leave it too long because they will be going for sale next week in Hochanda. So they're really only available on here for the next couple of days. But the ring sets, you can buy those. That's any time. That's no problem. Oh, the giveaway. That's why I got 2 smoky. So tonight's lucky winner will win the smoky quartz set, which has got enough for the 2 rings again. So you've got the full kit there as well. Well, I've got lots of you that are liking it. That's nice to know. Oh, Kim said she'll have to take extra painkillers. I know it's tough. It can be tough if you've got a condition that you get pains in your hands. But if you do pick up any top tips that you want to share, or if you suffer with your hands and you found a few ways to help you along the way, I know, Anne, you've bought gloves in the past before, haven't you, that have helped. So please feel free to share that with everybody in the group if you've got any tips. So before we go, what I need from you is some votes, please. Do you want for next week to do the pendant and earrings? Or do you want to know how to do the sun catcher? I know we've done a sun catcher before, but it's got that windy element. Or the candle. If you want to do all of them, let me know and I'll just pick it out. But I just think it's really good when I'm doing kits. I always think, what else can we get from this method? What else can we do? So I am going to go and pop you all in a random spinner wheel. I'll save the post to the top and tag in the winner. Also, if you win, there's no pressure to buy, but if you do buy and you're happy to combine your purchase with the giveaway, you will get free postage. So there you go. Oh, we're getting lots of feedback. That's great. Oh, June uses a wrist strap support. Oh, great tip. Oh, thank you, everyone. I shall study all of your comments. Thank you as always. I will be back with you on Sunday and I should be on my travels on Monday, ready for a show on Tuesday. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. You all take care. Speak soon. Bye.